Hello my lovely nestlings and welcome to today's video where I'm finally going to play with the Catrice Pro Natural Spirit palette. I've had this palette in my collection for a few months, I think half a year maybe. It launched last year here in Europe and today is finally the day that I'm going to show you two looks and give you my opinion on this palette. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm from the Netherlands, hence the accent. I'm also slightly orcish, relatively vintage. I love spooky stuff, makeup and being creative. The slightly orcish means I'm green. I am a light to light medium warmish olive, and the relatively vintage means I'm 47. So yeah, I also have ADHD and I'm autistic, so you get, I don't know, every day is a surprise with me. Never mind that at all. Yeah, the Catrice Pro Natural Spirit. As I said, I have this in my house for quite some time. I have all of these palettes. These palettes for me retail around €10. I'm going to show you two looks. I'm going to give you my opinion at the end of the video and timestamps will be listed down below. But yeah, this palette has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 feet. It's 14 shades. It's the exact same as all their other Pro Slim palettes. There's a combination of mattes and shimmers. There are different shimmer finishes in here. There are also 2 marble shades in here, and yeah, that's I think kind of it. It's cardboard packaging. Catrice is a German brand. They're cruelty free. They're notness. This is a vegan palette. Not all their makeup is vegan, but this is a vegan palette. Okay, look number 1. I hope my laptop doesn't make too much noise. So, but if you hear if it sounds like a helicopter is lifting off, it's my laptop. It's old like me. I'm going to start with the shade called Origin. That one. Picks up nicely on the brush. I'm just going to place that here. Oh, that is a nice shade. Next shade is going to be the shade Heat. And I'm kind of going to follow my bottom lid up and in. I haven't set my eyeshadow base, I actually never do, but it still blends out beautifully. Okay, I'm going to go to a smaller brush, still the same shade. I'm going to pull it a little bit more forward in the crease. I'm cleaning the brush and I'm going to go to the shade called Sand. I am building it up quite a bit, but it still shows up. I'm going to go next to the shade called, I think I'm going to go to Element and darken up the outer corner a little. We're just going to create a little bit of depth. So a little bit underneath, just in the outer eye part area, or outer corner of the lower lash line. Okay, I do want to see how much more I can layer, so I'm actually going to go to the shade Dark and see if that one will kind of, I know it's a cool toned one, but let's see. Picks up very nicely on the brush and it still lays down as well, so that is very nice. And I have layered quite a bit of eyeshadow now, but it still works, it still shows up. Very nice. Okay, back to the previous brush. Without any extra product, I'm just going to run it over the edge. Then I'm going to go back to the brush before that I used with the shade Heat. Okay. And I'm also going to re-intensify the shade Origin a little bit with which was the first shade I started with. clean the brush, and then a little bit of the white called sand. It's time for shimmers, and for shimmers I actually always use a shimmer primer. But what I'm going to do now is on one eye I'm not going to use a shimmer primer, on the other eye I am. So the shimmer primer that I have, it's actually a face primer from Essence. It's a jelly primer, and I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, grab a brush, if I can find the brush that I want to use today. Oh, here it is. Work my brush in, just pick up a little bit on both sides. And then tap that on the inner part here. And a little bit, not the complete outer part, but I don't know, 3/4 of the way, 3/4 of the way out. It's difficult to talk today. I'm drying my brush on a microfiber towel. And then I'm going to go to the shade called Holly. Or Holy. It's Holy. I'm sorry, it's Holy. I'm going to press that on top here. Oh, that's pretty. Not all the way. Okay. Then with the other side of the brush, I'm going to go to the shade called Glory, which is that one. That picks up nicely as well. It's going to go there. And then I'm just flipping my brush over the border a little. Cute. For underneath my eye, I want to go... I want to use the silver. I don't know if it will be pretty, but I want to use the silver, that one called Spirit. I'm grabbing a little bit of shimmer primer. Let that settle a little bit, and then I'm going to press the shade Spirit on top. Is that cute? I don't know, it's different. I'm also going to use a little bit of the shimmer primer on the bottom, other eye bottom lid, and then I'm going to do what I did here on this eye as well. However, I am not going to use a shimmer primer. I'm going to try the shades dry first, and then we will see what happens. I'm going to use the same brush that I used for the shimmers, the bigger brush. First shade Holy, let's see what it does dry. Yeah, I kind of figured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a spray. If I can find a spray, that will be now here. I'm going to load up my brush with eyeshadow, and then I'm going to spray my brush. Tap off, and then let's see what it will do. Okay. Back to the shade Sand, which was the white. I wanted a little bit. I have a specific color in mind, so that's why I'm kind of brushing it over. Okay, this is it so far. Let me finish it off and I'll be right back. I finished off the look with a dark grey eye pencil from Essence. On my lips is a lip liner from Curse Cosmetics in the shade Prey, which is a darker brown. Then for lipstick I pulled the shade Busy Bee from Colored Rain from their Queen Bee collection, which is a nice orange. Falsies are, I have no idea. I got these falsies for my birthday. They are half lashes and I don't know where they're from. But they're very, very cute. So yeah. The rest of the makeup will be listed down below in the description box. For now, let me know down below how you feel about this look, and let's get ready for the second one. I'm going to start with the shade called Olive. Picks up very well on the brush. And I'm just tapping it on from the outside in. I'm going to build it up in the outer corner a little bit more. And instead of swiping immediately, I'm kind of tapping over it a little bit because I want to blend as little as possible, because I want to move my eyelid as little as possible. I want that shade Olive underneath my eye as well. Next I'm going to go to the shade called, let's go to True, because that's also a cool toned one. Let's see what it does on my skin tone. So it is a very, very cool toned shade, but it does work for me. Which is nice, because a lot of the time these types of shades will really, really warp and turn kind of a, I don't know, like I'm dead. Which is usually not really the look I go for. Okay, I am cleaning my brush. I'm going to go to the shade Sand. Oh, actually, did I show you the shade? This is the shade that I used. And now I'm going to go to that shade. Sand. I'm just going to run that underneath. And I'm also going to put that in the inner corner, because the shade I just used, the very cool toned one, is too basically cool toned to put there for me. It's time for the shimmers. I checked yesterday, there was no difference in fading between the one with the primer and without the primer, the shimmer primer, but I am going to use the shimmer primer because I do feel that the shades perform a little bit better when you do that. And it's just what I prefer to use. As you saw as I showed you yesterday in the previous look, it also works when you spray it. You have to build it up a little bit more, but it does work. But I have a little bit of primer on the back of my hand, working my brush in. And then I'm going to tap it on. Tiny bits at a time. This primer is a little bit wet. That's how it feels. So don't swipe, just tap. Cleaning or drying my brush on my towel. Letting it kind of set a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with the shade... I want to go in with the shade Spirit, which is a grey. I'm tapping off my brush and I'm pressing that on. Ooh, that's pretty. It's almost a little bit of a, I want to say a sage green. I thought it was a grey or silver, but it's very pretty. And I'm just building this one up. Making sure that the primer is saturated. Then I'm going to go to the other eye. Do the same thing, just press it on the primer. Then I'm going to go back to the first eye and kind of swipe, press and swipe a little bit to get it a little bit more foiled or shiny. Yeah, that works as well. When you're using your finger for shimmers, you kind of press and pull a little bit, if that makes any sense. Oh, that's pretty. And you can also use a sponge tip applicator if you don't want to use your fingers. Okay, I am also going to go to the shade called Attitude, which is that one. And I'm going to kind of use that on the, basically on the outer corner a little bit. And a little bit over the shade Spirit. I also want that shade Spirit basically there, so I'm going to use shimmer primer again. I still have a little bit left. It just works better for me, so I'm just kind of pressing that there. I'm actually also going to put that on the rest of my lower lash line. Drying my brush. Then I'm going to go to the shade, let's go to Spirit first, which was that lighter shade. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the shade Attitude, which is the darker shimmer that I have on my upper lid. And I'm going to press that on the rest of my lower lash line. So I am actually going to go to a shade from Davina, and it's called Gumballs. It's just what I prefer. I think it's just a very, very pretty shade. I am going to go to a matte white. I have here the Stone Cold Fox from Colourpop. I'm going to go to the matte white and I'm going to put that over because the shadow that I have just picked, it's not the color that I actually want. So I'm just tapping that matte white over. That's better. Yeah, I think that's cute. That's cute. That's cute. So let me finish everything off. I'll be right back and give you my opinion on this palette, because I have opinions. Everything is on. For eye pencil I used again one from, oh no, this is one from Essence. It's the shade Olive You. I also kind of smudged it a little bit on my lower lash line to give a little bit of extra depth there. Falsies are the same that I used yesterday, which are half lashes. They're actually from Shein, and I think I found them, so I will link them down below for you guys. Lippy is a lip liner from Curse Cosmetics in the shade Prey. I think I used that one yesterday as well. And then the Lippy is from Unearthly Cosmetics. It's a satin liquid lipstick in the shade Ava. I really like this look. I really do. And it was not even that difficult to create. So let me tell you my opinion on the palette. When I bought it and I got it in, I was like, ooh, that is very pretty. Now she's not exciting. She's not, which is fine. Because I do love me a basic bitch palette. And for me, this is very much a neutral palette, especially with olive shades. The look yesterday came together very well. The mattes blended very easily and they layered very well. So the mattes in this palette are, in my opinion, pretty high quality. The only shade that kind of is the only shade that I really would like to change of the mattes is this shade called Dark. I wish it was deeper than it is, maybe 2 shades, so I could very much use it to darken up the look of today as well. Not necessarily a black, but a very deep dark brown, because if you want to use a black with these, you can, but that contrast is then very apparent because the oranges are warm toned and the black is cool toned. So a very deep dark brown, that would have been amazing in this palette. Did I use all the shades? No, the only matte I didn't use is the shade Stone, which I could have used today in combination with the green. I just didn't. You can also use that, just, you know, these two, so the shade Stone in the crease and darken it up with the shade Dark to have a brown toned neutral look. I just didn't do that. So let's then go to the shimmers. So these 2 shimmers, and it's actually a lot of the time the case for me with these palettes from Catrice, is that the lightest 2 shimmers are for me very lackluster. These as well, they are a little bit, I don't want to say powdery, but they are a little bit particly and almost a little bit too little binder for my personal preference, because kind of when I dig my brush in, I can kind of see the color particles do that. I don't really know how to explain it, but for me these 2 are just way too subtle. They're pretty, but they're way too subtle for what I like. So I just wish that the lighter shades that I did in these types of palettes had a little bit more oomph. Again, it's personal preference, but for me they were very much meh. So the rest of the shimmers I actually really like. And we have 2 marbled shades in here, which is the shade Hello that I used yesterday and the shade Spirit that I used today. What I do have to say is that with the shimmers, especially the ones here, if you use them with a dry brush, you very much need to build them up and they will create fallout. So if you do not want to spray your brush or don't want to use a shimmer primer and use a dry brush, just do your eyes first. What will also help a lot with these shades is applying them with your finger or even a sponge tip applicator, because that kind of behaves like your finger and sometimes it picks up shimmer shadows better than a brush would. I really enjoy the look that I have today. I also love the look from yesterday, but this shade Olive, in my experience, olive browns are not the easiest to formulate. And what do I mean by that is that they can be very dry. They can get patchy very quickly. So the way that I used it today, it's basically just a one colored crease. Yes, I pulled in another color for the inner corner, but for the rest, everything that you see here, including the depth, is done with the shade Olive. And it looks very nice. I don't know how it looks on camera, but on me the only thing here is when I kind of use that shade Sand, the brush I picked had a little bit of residue eyeshadow. So it looks a little bit weird there, but this blend is very nice and it was very easy to do as well. Now if you do feel that your eyeshadows go a little bit patchy when you blend, just tap your brush in lightly in the shadow, tap it off and then just kind of press it lightly there where it is a little bit patchy, and that usually works. So yeah, overall I think it's a very nice palette. I had a lot of fun with this, and yeah, besides the fact that I do kind of wish that some shades were different, I'm very happy that I have this in my collection. And that was it for today. Let me know if you got the palette. Let me know if my review helped. I actually have all the pro palettes that Catrice released, especially here in Europe, and I think they released everything here in Europe. So if you want to see any of the other pro palettes, check out my Catrice and Essence playlist, because all the videos will be there. That playlist will also be on the end screen for you to check out. And then that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to wish you a fantastic day, fabulous evening. May your foundation always match your neck, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.